Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the Siblings Den channel. My name is Wingless Dragon, and I'm here to cover the 3 dimensions that are available on Skyblock Dystopia. Woo! For those that are unfamiliar with what the dimensions are, I made a breakdown video of what you should know and learn from the beginning of what Skyblock Dystopia is able to provide. So take a look at that video if you have not and you're just joining this server on OPlegends as of recently. But this is going to be like a quick breakdown of the 3 dimensions and then a bit of the differences on what each one offers, when can you access them, and what you should do or focus on between the 3. It shouldn't be a big difference, but I think it's just good to know in general what to expect out of the 3 and go from there. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, before even going into the dimensions, let's just have a breakdown of what the 3 are. The 3 of them are the Overworld dimension. This is the one that you're given immediately from the start. You have access to this, and this is basically replicates a bit of like a mining area, a fishing area, and a forest area that you can gather resources from. The next one is the Nether dimension. This is where mobs start being introduced. You'll have piglin brutes that can transform into zombie piglins after a short period of time. You'll have the wither skeletons that are going to come after you. And during that time, you're able to mine the walls of gold, or you can farm nether warts, which can give you quite a bit of significant money increase. And then what was introduced just recently is the end dimension. And in this case, you can run around and where you can gather diamonds, emeralds, netherite scraps, and all these are mined at the same time as gaining money. And money is something that you earn from all 3 of them, from whatever resources that you're able to acquire. For the breakdown as of this season, this is available to you right from the beginning. The Nether dimension seems to be available once you reach level 5. Note that this can be changed later on in other seasons for balances purposes, but for now it's at level 5. And the end dimension is only available once you reach level 65. This sounds like a big jump. It's just what's set up at this time. This might be balanced out later on, but we're not going to focus too much on what levels you need to access them, so much as what do they offer and what you can do out of the 3. And what we're going to start with is the Overworld dimension. So let's get going. One thing to note regarding the dimension teleporter and for the Overworld dimension is what kind of things are relatable with regards to your tools. Now, I've got a really nice tool called the jungle tool. This is one of the best ones that you can get on the server, but this is relevant to any of the Omnitools that you have, where you have selection between all 6 of the Omnitools that you could enchant and upgrade. Note that the sword, no prestige, the axe has a prestige, the pickaxe has a prestige, the hoe has no prestige, the shovel has a prestige, and the fishing rod has a prestige. The 4 of them that have a prestige, it is only relevant to what you are able to do in the Overworld dimension. And what it does is it lets you attack an extra block, or it improves your fishing for those 4 tools. And the way that you work to gain the prestige is for the axe, it is just using it on the trees in the Overworld, and eventually you'll be able to prestige it. The pickaxe, however, you're able to use it either in the Overworld or your island to upgrade it. And this is something that if you're looking to get all of the ores in the Overworld very quickly, you could have this upgraded as high as possible for the prestige, and this will let you mine and get resources really quickly. Just note that it'll fill up your inventory very quickly as well. Same thing for the shovel, but this is more specific to just the clay that you can acquire on the Overworld dimension. And then fishing is just so that you can fish a lot faster. So there's not much going on with that at this time. Aside from that, it's not like the other 3 where it's just like more of the chances. In this case, it just allows you to catch better and more powerful fish while you're fishing with a maximum prestige of 4. The shovel is 10, the pickaxe is 10, the axe is 10. One other thing of note that's only specific to the Overworld dimension is the accuracy enchantment that you can apply on the tools. This increases the accuracy on your tools in the Overworld dimension, which gives you a higher chance to hit per swing. It basically makes it even more efficient just for that dimension. So unless you're specifically going to focus on the Overworld dimension, accuracy is only good during that period, and then afterwards you might want to remove it so that you can have other enchantments that'll help you more frequently, especially if you're going to focus later on under the Nether. Now that we have a bit of a basis idea of what's going on with what you need to set up for your tools or what to be aware of for your tools, let's go to the Overworld dimension. Woo, here we go. Now, I've only used a 5-minute one, but you'll later have higher ones. What you could do with your pickaxe is get the ores or even the stone here and just get the loads of cobblestone as well. But it gets you the resources as well of all of the types of different ores that are available here up to emerald, I believe. Emerald is usually the rarer of them all, but you'll see that it really fills up the inventory very quickly. Note that during your time here, you can activate your chat and sell them as you are moving about. But note, you have a limited amount of time, so it's worth maybe just focusing on the ones that you want that are faster and focus on the other things that you can do. For the shovels, you'll have the clay. Know that you're getting only the clay balls, but what you can only sell is the clay blocks. So be aware that you might need to merge these inside the crafting table that you have in your inventory just to get things out of the way as fast as possible. The other thing to focus on is the type of trees, and usually a lot of people are focusing on the trees early on. The initial trees is what you're going to get and use to get your initial money from the start, and especially if you're focusing on dark oak, it is usually the one that will take the longest to use your axe on it. The resources of it is going to be very useful, and it is what's going to move you forward faster when it comes to the actions that you need from there. Everyone tends to focus on the trees with their 5-minute, 10-minute dimension access to get as much money as possible using money boosters and money pets that they have available. So that's definitely something to look into for the initial money that you want, and note that you'll have some like additional resources that you can get early on. Last but not least, you could start doing the fishing with your fishing rod. You'll see that you've got different types of guys that are going after it. You're gonna have to right click and try to get as much as you can and clicking as much as possible to get the different type of available creatures that are there. Think of it almost similar to Stardew Valley in a way, except you're just focusing on clicking as fast as possible and then getting as many of the fish as possible. And you'll notice that the different fishes do different things and offer different levels of resources. And that's pretty much the breakdown of the overworld dimension. You can level up your Omnitool while you're here, get the resources that you want, and then sell them to your inventory. But note that you can sell it in your inventory anytime during the process that you're in. So just /sell, it goes into your island inventory and it lets you have access to it again. Reminder that if you are needing to reset your Omnitool in any way, shape, or form, sometimes you might get hung up with the fishing rod after you've used it in the overworld. You can access it by doing /Omnitool, so long as the tool is inside your hand. So if you have it stuck on the fishing rod, you can't just right click it in the air to change it. What you can do is just hold on to it and do /Omnitool. The next area we're going to check out is now the Nether Dimension. Dimension number 2, let's go! So in dimension number 2, it's a little bit more harmful. There's a lot more stuff that can happen to you over here. So it's good to have a good weapon that has all the enchants that you need. Increasing your armor and defense is going to be very critical. But you'll see that there's iron, there's gold that you can mine here that is all over the place. But be wary of the mobs that are available. For example, there's a piglin brute now that could come after me. So if I'm going to be here, it might start attacking me. So I need to be careful. There might be fights between different other mobs as well to be very careful on. But here's something to be also careful is the piglin brutes will turn into zombie piglins, and that's something to be very careful of. Wither skeletons absolutely do damage you, so you need to be careful with that as well. Note, axes do pick up the items that are here, so be very mindful of that. You can gather that if you want, but again, be mindful, mobs are around, and be very careful because when you are attacking the piglin brute and it transforms, it will transform while you're trying to potentially attack it. And if you know anything about the zombie piglins, if you attack one, they all come after you. So be very careful of that. So make sure that if you want the stems, you can get them here. Can't get the light sources. It just looks like you're getting the stems should you want to mine this with your axe. So just to be aware of that. Now, what a lot of people do is not mine the walls or the stems, but they keep going down and down lower until they reach the nether warts. It gets creepy. It's a little spooky, but you can still mine these for gold, other resources as well as you make your way down. But here is what a lot of players make their way down for the resources that they want. Note the mobs are still spawning here. You can still get a lot of the golds that are here. but be very careful with that. But you'll see that there's soul sand, and I'm moving a lot faster. And this is something of note for equipment that you would want for the Nether Dimension specifically, and that's putting soul speed on your boots so that you can zoom past this. Additionally, adding just speed for movement in general is going to help you. And then what you could do is start getting all of the resources. You could do this with your hand, you could do this with any tool. This part doesn't really matter. What does matter is same thing as the overworld with the farming of the trees. What you should do is bring a money booster as well as a money pet to gain as much as possible. And the nether warts here can work really well, can get you a lot more money than before. But again, you want to be very careful with the mobs that are around. Withers will spawn, piglin brutes will just appear out of nowhere. And then again, if you're trying to defend yourself in attacking the piglin brute, make sure you're able to kill it quickly. Otherwise, it might transform into a zombie piglin when coming after you. And if you attack it, you'll see that all of the zombie piglins are now going to come after you because you attacked one of them. And now you're dealing with an additional hurdle that you weren't expecting before. And it will increase the difficulty of farming in the area. But if you do really well, you can dodge and weave and get as much of the nether warts as possible. With the booster, I think I've been able to get like 4 or 5 million in about the 5-minute mark, just dealing with 5 minutes. More obviously if you have more time in the nether dimension, but just those will help you a lot in getting a lot more of the millions that you need for spawners, for a lot of the setups that you need to get experience, and just to move with the building and construction of a lot of the farms that you need on your island to move forward. And as always, once you get back, or you could do this during your chances while you are in the dimension, you could sell all the nether warts or other items that you have just to get them out of your inventory. While you're there, you will be picking up loads of nether warts when you're there. So this is probably something if you want to focus on getting as much as possible in your island inventory to sell out while you're working on it. But if you're focusing on just money, just leave them on the ground and just focus on gathering the nether warts as much as possible. You'll get the money regardless of if you actually physically pick up the nether warts or not. So just something to be mindful of. Now we have the last dimension to showcase, and that is the end dimension. Let's go. Similar to the nether, there are going to be a lot of things to run around and mine. There isn't as many mobs as you would expect, but you'll notice that there are a lot of objects around, but you want to focus on these little light sources. There's endermen, obviously. Try not to look at them, but if you do, you will have to handle them and they will come after you. So be very careful. There are also wither skeletons that you can deal with during this time that'll need to be focused on. While you're doing this as well, you are going to be gathering diamond, emeralds, and nether scraps. That varies depending on just which one you'll get while you're farming all of these little lanterns that are all over the place. One thing to probably add to your tool that might not be one that you would generally keep on you is having the telepath ability so that they go directly into your inventory. This is the same case for the nether warts and the nether dimension. If you're looking to have it directly on you and not just being dropped on the ground for you to have to pick up. So as you're going, you'll see that there's not really anything else to mine of additional. You really just have to get the lanterns out, and they do refresh after a little bit. So if you find a spot that has like the most optimized route for the most of these, that'll be your best bet to go for within the time period that you have. You'll also notice that you got access to it immediately rather than the nether where you have to like make your way to the nether warts before, and that can waste a bit of time. So be aware of those things as well. But you can see like already I'm getting well ahead on money. Mind you, right now I'm not using even a money pet or a booster, but you can tell from the differences of what we've been gathering that you're getting the most out of this one, and you are getting it as fast as you can farm the crystals as well as getting the very rare ores from this dimension. So be sure to spend the time that's needed in here. You will be dealing with sometimes with some of the mobs, but for the most part you can dodge them pretty well, and you should be able to acquire as much of the funds as you can as possible. So yeah, here's an example of what happens if you're gonna get stuck with the Enderman. It's gonna waste your time, and he will fly around and start attacking you and annoying you. So be careful. Don't look at these guys. Avoid them so that you're not wasting your precious time. You get puffer fishes from them, which you could also get from just fishing. So not the most effective way to get puffer fish. So don't let them distract you. Make sure that you're focused on getting the lanterns around rather than having to get distracted by them by looking at them. So if there is one around, avoid it. If you see a wither skeleton, run away from it. So that's showing off the 3 dimensions. Something I wasn't doing while showing off the 3 dimensions is what kind of pets I should have had during those 3 examples. But this is the money pet. Even if you have just the common one, get yourself any sort of money pet that you have available, and make sure, if you can, is to get the leveled up maxed as much as possible, because this is one of the reasons you're going to get a lot of money during the 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever amount of time that you have access to. These are going to help you a lot. Additionally to a money pet, get yourself money boosters. You can usually get any kind of them, from grind keys to relic keys to vote keys. So you can also buy them from with mob coins, but have any of them, the highest that you have available, use during your times when you're farming on either the trees when you're on the overworld, the nether warts on the nether, or the lanterns on the end dimension. You're going to get bank each step of the way if you optimize how much money you can get with your money pet as well as the money boosters. That is going to help you a lot to set up things like the wolf spawner farm that we have back here, which helps us getting a lot of our experience and a lot of our abilities to level up our pets just by having the spawners that are available there. And then this can move forward with any of the other items that you need to build on your island so that you can move forward with it. Hope that's helped you out. Hope that's given you a lot of information on what to do with the dimensions that are available, how to help you focus on what you should do next regarding all those. If you have any additional questions or would like other things covered for OPlegends, Skyblock Dystopia, let us know in the comments, or you can join us in the Discord channel for the Siblings Den. The link is in the description. And as always, like and subscribe. It helps us a lot when we see that there's people that appreciate the stuff that we're doing, and we're looking forward to doing and providing more help and more videos and more fun and live action stuff that we do on a regular basis. Thank you, everyone. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Keep being awesome. Bye. Woo. Floaty block is my pet. Gives me money. Lots of money. Money.